we are live. What's up, everyone? Welcome back to another edition of Respect the Craft. This is episode number 145, actually. I just noticed the title's wrong, but hey, we'll fix it in post. But what's up, everyone? We are back here with Respect the Craft, and I'm joined by none other than a young up and comer here, still young to the game. He is representing not only Skid Row Academy, but also Superkrazee. It's Noah Stryker. What's going on, brother? How you feeling?
Going on, man? I'm feeling great, man. Like, thank you for giving me the time to come and talk to you. It's
Oh,
awesome.
definitely, man, definitely. I know. Again, like yesterday, we had the AJFC hashtag dope in the building. We're talking about right now. Superkrazee ain't too much of our friends right now. I know they're not enjoying our company as much, but again, I still want to be civil. I want to be nice, and especially when I see some young up and comers, I got to bring them on. Got to talk to them and see what we can have a nice conversation here. But before we get into all that, because I do want to talk to you a little bit about your career here, I have to ask you the question I ask everyone that comes on. You heard the name of the podcast. It's called Respect the Craft. So for you, when you hear that term, the craft, what does that mean to you?
When I hear the term craft, I'm assuming like it'll be honing your skills. Anything you do, possibly in the ring, outside the ring, always respect the business. Always make sure you hone your skills in and outside of the ring.
Gotcha. There you go. Hey, again, short and sweet, but it works. It's again, that's the whole point of all this. This is the craft that we're doing here. It's what we do and what we love about this business. So let's start talking a little bit about that. Because again, like I said, you are still young up and coming here. Because it's no secret you're still young in your career. So for you, I have to ask right now, how does it feel so far? How has the transition been, and how has it been finally be able to fully step into that ring and get to do matches on live shows?
Oh man, like be honest, it's still a very overwhelming feeling when I first stepping into the ring. Man, I'll be honest, like I actually shedded a tear. Like wow, like I'm actually doing this. I'm actually stepping into the ring. Like taking the first bump, running the ropes. Like wow, I was like wow. So this is what it takes to be part of this business, and I've been loving it ever since. It's been going about 9 months now. Started back in September. Wow, it's been like a fast 9 months now, and I'm really loving it ever since. It's working harder and harder.
No, that's awesome to hear, and definitely I've gotten to see what you're doing in there, and I've gotten to see that growth, seeing you originally with those stripes, and now making the full transition into in ring. How was that for you? Was that transition a little bit? Was it difficult to make that transition, or was it that step by step that's like now you're feeling more comfortable in there while you're actually competing in there?
At first, when they first made me started to become a referee for Evolution 3 Exodus back in January, because that was like my second show that I have officiated, and I'll be honest, like that was my second time, and I was still very nervous at the time because I was still very unaware of like certain things that I have to do, make sure that I'm on my P's and Q's, make sure that I have to listen to every little thing that I'm being told to make sure everything go by smoothly, and also making that transition from referee to pro wrestler, it was quite the experience. Like taking my first bump as a referee, then having my first match right after. It was actually pretty fun. Like actually had my first match with Anthony Bennett, man that I've known since when I first started training in Monster Factory all the way back in 2016 before I decided to take a short break, and for the that short break turned into a couple of years, and I decided to give this another try, and this is where I'm at now.
Got you, and I'll make sure to correct it now because I know somewhere he's gonna listen and be like, "That's not my name." To Tony Bennett, he likes to be called Tony now. It's
Tony
Tony
Bennett.
Bennett.
Okay,
We got to
got
make
it.
sure we call it correctly because if not, we'll get a complaint while he's drinking a martini. But shout out to
You
the
got it.
comments here, Metal Geek in the chat. What's up, guys? But okay, so that's interesting because now I do have to ask, what was it that made you want to come back? Because I know it's a hard decision to want to step back in because it's one of those where just to step in originally, it's a hard decision because again, there's a lot of elements that go in. But then to want to step into the ring again, or at least to try to get, what was that like for you?
Uh, the to sum it all up, when I first started pro wrestling back in 2016, I started training at the Monster Factory. Like the reason why I decided to quit pro wrestling at that time. I just, had a lot of self doubt in myself. I didn't think I had what it took to step into the ring for that very first time. Then I decided to take a step back, decided to reevaluate everything, make sure my mind and body is nice and clean, make sure everything's good. Then after a couple of years, and there's a pretty cool story on why I decided to come back. I actually went to a anime convention back in September in the Pocono Mountains, and there was actually a promotion. Shout out to Frontier Pro
There
Wrestling
we go.
for they're the one of the main reasons why I decided to get back into pro wrestling. They actually had an event there at the anime convention, and they decided to let us do entrances in our cosplays, and I decided to do it. And after doing my entrance, like there's something that just lit inside of me. This is something that you were made to do. Like I didn't get why I gave it up the first time. Maybe I just didn't believe in myself enough. But ever since I did that entrance, I feel like this was the right call. I have to go back. This was made for me.
Gotcha. No, again, that
And this is where
definitely
I'm at.
it was great to see that there was something there. It was like, no, this is we have to come back to this. This was something that was already it was starting, it was sparking up, and now it's like that fire got relit. And that's awesome to hear. Again, it's one of those where it's better to hear that, hey, I got the time away and I came back instead of the man, what if I would have gone back, you know? Like so that's definitely great to hear.
Yeah, man. Yeah, it was a very overwhelming. Like I honestly didn't think I was going to see myself doing this again, but ever since that convention, it just lit the fire that I tell myself all the time that there was a fire that I knew I needed to get
Yeah.
lit, and they did it for me. And I have to thank them very much for giving me my second chance at pro wrestling. And I know I cannot give it up after coming this far.
Definitely no. So now I have to ask you, what was it that brought you into now training at Skid Row and getting to be a part of, which is now under the Superkrazee banner as well. So what was it that drove you to go there now for your training?
Uh, Actually, I decided to hit up. Shout out to my brother, Adrian
Yeah,
Soriano, of course. Uh, After the convention was over, I decided to hit him up and but hey, I decided to give pro wrestling a second chance. Is there like any wrestling facilities nearby? And he decided to recommend Super Crazy, and I came in. I met everyone. Everyone was really nice. I ain't gonna lie, I was a little overwhelming at first meeting everybody there. Everybody seemed a little scary, but after knowing everybody there, everyone was really nice to me ever since. Like I really loved being there.
no, no, it definitely is. Again, it's one of those where it's especially you're coming into a new environment now. You've been away for a bit, so it's one of those where you have to get familiar with everything again. But hey, it worked out, and again, this is why we're here. This is why we're having this conversation right now. So it works out.
Awesome, man. I'm glad it's working out for me.
Again, it's one of those where it's like we said, it's something that you kind of have to make you have to make the best of it. It's like, hey, you took your break, you got your mindset back to where it needs to be, and now look at where we are. We have Noah Stryker becoming a real thing here. So and look at that. We
Yeah,
got we
man. It's
got
only the beginning.
we got Ben in the chat here saying, keep doing what you're doing, bro. You're gonna be great. And he's right. Again, it's one of those where
Awesome, man.
it's not a race here. It's that small, just step by step here. It's not a quick process, and it's one of those where again you're showing that respect for it. You're taking your time with it, and again making that transition. It's only 9 months in, so it's one of those where Harry, what we can't even imagine what 9 months more is gonna bring to us. You know,
Right.
so so
Yeah. Fast approaching to 1 year in September. Like time is flying pretty quick.
yeah. Here we go. We got the good brother from hashtag dope. We got Brax in the chat. I know Brax. Again, I said earlier, I'm trying to be nice. I know he's team super crazy, but I'm being nice to the younger generation here. I get it. We still, like I said, Saturday it's all gonna be calm. It's gonna be civil. After Saturday, it might be a little different. So, like I know no one might not like me too much because I hit him with a kendo stick 2 shows ago. So, but
Right, right. I remember I had to come out there and hit you a couple times.
uh, but it's okay. We're civil here. No strikes. We're here to have a
Hmm.
nice conversation. We're here to promote because again, we got to promote the church's money day this Saturday. So we got to talk about that because we're going to be talking about that match in a little bit because it's perfect that you mentioned again it was that connection with you and Adrian that got you to find Superkrazee and Skid Row Academy. So I have to ask you, how was that bond formed? Because I can imagine it had to be at the Monster Factory, right? Because that's where originally uh,
Right.
Adrian and Matt and Omen were there as well. So how was that for you getting that bond created? How was that with you guys forming that friendship?
I actually known Matt like for a very very long time. Like I feel like our bond gotten like a lot stronger ever since like I started getting into pro wrestling. I like to be honest, like, I've always looked up to these guys, and like just in life in general, just watching the things they can accomplish. Like wow, if they can accomplish things like that, then I know I can do the same thing. And I just been following them ever since, man. Like I feel like the bonds, like they're my
Yeah.
brothers. Like and I really, really respect them for everything they're doing for the business, everything they're giving to us, giving their time to train us, and I really respect that.
Gotcha. No, definitely. And again, that's a great bond to have, and that's something I always recommend someone to find. That if you're able to find someone, definitely that you could take up as that mentor role, as someone that's like it's giving teaching you the right way and teaching you what the do's and don'ts. It's always great to have, especially in a business like this, where a lot of times, realistically, we have to admit it's a little cutthroat. So having people that actually are looking
Hmm.
to look for your best interests is always great. And see, there we go. Brax is being nice here. He says very talented. He is. Again, this is why we're having the conversation. We want to make sure people know about the young upstart here in Noah Stryker. So let's get into it. Let's talk about it because we already talked a little bit. It is going to be the church's money day this Saturday. So before we even get into your match, I want to ask for you, what does this mean to get to be a part of a show like this? Again, unfortunately, the circumstances aren't the best. We would love for this show to just be it's another Superkrazee show, but unfortunately, it is a benefit show. It has to be able to make sure we raise some more funds for another one of our great brothers, Unk and G's. So for you, what does it mean to be able to compete and be a part of this show on Saturday?
To be honest, is like it's very gonna be a mind blowing experience. Like to actually get to wrestle on the show for someone who's been given so much to this business in Black G's. Like I honestly haven't known him for quite some time, but I did know him since I first started here for about 9 months since I met him the very first time I stepped into that building. Really nice guy, gave me a lot of advices that I definitely took to heart, and for me to actually be part of the show, it really means the world. And I want to thank everyone for actually like giving me this opportunity to actually put on a great match for them.
Gotcha. No, definitely. So now let's not waste any more time. Let's get into it. Let's talk about the matchup here that will be happening this Saturday. Again, it's that teacher student, it's that mentor and the protege. It's the storybook matchup here. It's going to be Adrian Soriano going head to head with Noah Stryker here. So I have to ask you, what does a matchup like this mean? Because I know it's even more personal. Because not only again has he helped you get here, has helped you with teaching you the ways, but it's a deeper bond than even that. So what does a match like this mean to you, especially on a night like this for Church's Money Day?
Oh man, like to be honest, like I'm excited and very very
Yeah,
overwhelming at the very same time. Like oh man, like this honestly is like a match like years in the making. Like man, like I honestly always wanted to have a match with him, but to happen this early into my career, like it's very mind blowing. And I just want to say, like, I just want to thank everyone for believing me, like, to also like to have an opportunity to step into a ring with one of the best to do it in this business today, and that goes to show to prove that I can also be one of the very best. And I just want to say thanks to O Dog Darren for giving me this opportunity to show that I am the young dog of this business. I am the I am the prospect of Superkrazee, and I just want to say it's going to be really awesome. And I'm really looking forward to it.
gotcha. No, definitely. When I saw this matchup put together, I'm like, okay, this definitely is going to be interesting to see because it's one of those where, again, it's that storybook of, hey, now let's see, can the student hang in there with the teacher? Can he get in there? Can he show what he has and prove, hey, you taught me some things, but now it's time for me to show you what I can do in there. And I'm looking forward to seeing. I'm looking forward to be in there Saturday and even hey, calling the matchup because I want to see what story you guys tell in there. But I do have to ask this because I can imagine the studying up for this has been intense. How has that preparation been for you? Because I can imagine now it's one of those where you have to bring something out that maybe even Adrian doesn't know because he's gonna think, oh, I've taught him everything he knows. That's it.
Right.
But it's one of those where I can imagine the preparation is just going just 100 miles an hour right now in your head.
Right. Like ever since the announcement of the match, like I just been laser focused. I've been training harder, working out harder, getting my promo skills harder, make sure everything's 100%. Like I've been working my butt off to make sure that I make sure that I have the skills what it has to take them down. Hopefully.
No, again, that's the mentality you have to have. Let's not say hopefully though. You have to go in certain. You have to go
Right.
in
Right.
again. This is a lesson I'll teach you right now. Go in knowing
Right.
you could walk out victorious this Saturday. And hey, Adrian does have a nice piece of gold around his shoulder, so it's not only is this a big win just for you if you're able to defeat again your mentor there, but you're able to defeat the current champion. So it's one of those where it's a big milestone for so many reasons. So again, go in with that mentality, and I can't wait to see because I want to see, like we said, we talked about it's only 9 months in. Imagine a win like this where it puts you at. And again, it tells that perfect story of hey, you're back. He was one of the reasons that got you even to find your footing again, and boom, it's a match like this. Like there's so much to think. And again, it's on a day like this. It's so much of just so many perfect connections. You know what I mean?
Yeah, like, like honestly, like I had been having a lot of great matches in my short 9 months, but this right here, this is the match that I've been waiting for a very, very long time, and I'm just glad that it's finally happening. I finally get to have a match with my very own brother. Yes, we're brothers, but at the same time, we're gonna go out there and we're gonna kill it.
That's one of those where I was like, do is he gonna just admit it now? I'm just like, we're playing it off here.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? At this point, everybody kind of knows this, so I'm just gonna go ahead and throw it out there.
I didn't want to be the one to say it. Again, that's why I was like, I know there's a deeper bond there, but I don't want to just throw it out because, hey, again,
Nah,
you're
right.
building your own legacy. That's one of those where I like. It's one of
Right.
those where you could have just easily been like, okay, yeah, Noah Soriano. That could have been the thing, but it's like, no, you're
Right.
building your
Like,
own brand
all
here.
right.
You're building your own legacy, which I
Mhm.
respect. Again, I like seeing that. Again, you could have easily. Let's be real. Could have just been an easy, hey, a new prodigy for Primal Fear. But no, you're on your own accord. You're doing it your way. And I respect what you're doing. Because again, it gives you that more of it's that grit. Like I had the conversation with TJ Reno this week of him building his own accord as well. Like you guys already have something there that it's like, oh, of course they have to do good because there's family already there. But you guys showing that no, you don't even have to just use that as an advantage. You guys are doing it on your own because you want to show you're just as good is even better. So it's gonna be
Yeah,
great.
man. Like, yeah, man. Like, people were wondering, like, hey, why you're not taking the name Soriano? Like, yeah, I get it. It kind of makes sense on why I should take the name, but you summed it up perfectly. Like, the reason why I decided not to go with it, I'm trying to be my own person, trying to build my very own legacy. And that's the reason why I decided not to take the name Soriano. As much as people wanted me to take it.
See, but it's good. Again, it's one of those where again it could have been easy. It could have just been like, yeah, I'm Noah Soriano. You could have come out with your own variation of the gear. You could have looked just like your brother, and just that's it. It's like, of course, it's the brother, but it's like, no, you're building your own legacy there. You're making sure you're able to do on your own accord. Because again, a matchup like this, of course, people are going to see it and be like, yeah, it's the brother versus brother match. But there's so much more to it because now it's no, it's again, it's the teacher versus student. It's the brother versus brother, but it's also, hey, it's Adrian Soriano versus Noah Stryker. There is no just, hey, yeah, it's a brother. No, it's so much more to it. And that's what I love to see because again, it shows just if you're having matches like this. Again, you face Tony Bennett match one, which people let's not forget, Tony Bennett has been to the big time. Tony was in the Cruiserweight Classic. He's done so much all around the world, and that was your first test. and you've continued to be tested every time. This is the reason I wanted to talk to you, because it's like, hey, and you're still standing, and you're that hunger is even bigger now, which is great to see.
Yeah, like what it is, it doesn't matter like the opponents that they're pairing me up with. Like I have that hunger. Like I'm ready to fight. Like I'm ready to step into the ring with anyone they throw at me. Like I want to prove to everyone that I deserve to stay here in this business. That I want to prove to them that I deserve to step into that ring.
Got you. And now I have to ask you this, because again, even though your career has still been as short as it is, but what was, be it a match, be it a moment, what was it that made you say, you know what, this is truly, I made the right choice coming back. I want to stay doing this, and I have to continue this. Because I know that the entrance was what got you in, that it clicked again. It sparked that interest to do it again. But what was it once you were a part of the business again that made you now say, I made the right choice?
Uh, the moment was when I've actually watched the wrestling event that was going on at the convention. It was between the promoter himself, Miguel. Shout out to Miguel from Frontier Pro Wrestling. He was in a tag team match with a couple of other students, and like, I was just sitting there, just watching, like just watching the hunger in his eyes, just watching the fire, just watching him work the crowd. Like, I was just sitting there, just being mesmerized, just being entertained. And I was just sitting there thinking, like, wow, what if I gave this another try? Can I get the same reaction from the people? And I just been loving it ever since. And at that moment, I knew that I had to come back.
Gotcha. So that's great, because again, it shows that hunger was there. It was always there. It was just something needed to remind you, hey, yeah, this is still what we want to do. This is still something. So let's get into that a little bit. Let's move away from the wrestling a little bit. Um, what would have been the other option, realistically, if wrestling, if you didn't have that moment? Because again, you were at a con, you're at an anime con, which it's funny, because I'll tell a similar story in a bit, but I want to get to what was the other interest that would have been like, you know what, I tried wrestling, but hey, let's now, this is the avenue I want to take. What would that have been?
To be honest, like very funny that you mentioned the convention again. I was going to be a full-time cosplayer.
Okay.
Like that's always been like another favorite thing of mine. Like I love like dressing up as my favorite characters from all different types of shows. If I didn't go to this convention specifically and I didn't go to that event, honestly, I would probably not be sitting here having this conversation right now.
Gotcha. No, and it's funny because I bring that up because it was funny enough. It was a convention that made me find independent wrestling years ago. I went to WinterCon. It was here in
Oh, all right.
Queens, and I went not thinking about, oh yeah, I'm gonna find indie wrestling. No, I can't remember who was there wrestling wise. Someone was there, and I just went to go again, look at the stuff, do this, and I took a picture with someone being a fan, and then I run into this table of a wrestling card game, the Super Show, and they're talking to me, and they're like, yeah, we have this show coming up, and they show me, and I'm like, oh, okay. I knew some of the people, like they had PJ Black on there, John Hennigan or John Morrison was on the card. I'm like, okay, I'll check it out. And it was just, now we're here. Like that got me in, and I was like,
Awesome,
yeah,
man.
now I want to. And I found the school, I found all that, and now years later, so it's like one of those where again, it's just when the time is right, everything connects, man. So it's great to hear that it was something like
Hmm.
that, a similar experience that just it started it all. So shout out to conventions. Go to
Definitely.
your local conventions, guys. As much as we always say as well,
Definitely.
support independent wrestling, support your conventions because you never know. Like I think there's a convention coming up next weekend, Brooklyn Comic Con, where there's gonna be a show at. So who knows? Maybe
All
that
right.
next Noah Stryker could be in the crowd, just being like, you know what? Now I wanna do this. So you never know.
Definitely.
So
Definitely.
that's great to hear. So now let's talk about this because we talked about bringing you back in. We talked about the match coming up, but let's talk about now about the future here. Let's talk about who does Noah Stryker want to face? Is even if it's someone from Super Crazy, out of Super Crazy, who is someone that's on your radar of like, I need to test myself now against this. I'm not saying look over Adrian Soriano because again, that's going to be I know it's a big test for
Right.
you right there. But if after this, let's say the next month or whatever, who's on that next list that you're like, I need to get in there with?
Man, there's actually a couple of people that can come to mind right now, but there's only one person right now that I actually would love to step into the ring with, and he's actually a fellow student of Super
Okay.
Crazy, and that man is none other than Semi Alfazi, the current United States champion. I know, I can see you. I can see you shaking your head right
See,
there.
you know what it is? I'm starting to see everyone doesn't like this guy. Everyone wants to fight him. I was right cutting the promo on him. And then the last show, you could have helped me. We could have both been beating him up, but then no, you distracted me. You started hitting me. I couldn't lay my hands on Fozzy. And again, we had him right there. You could have helped us. We were right there. I was like, why is no one hitting me? And then I got Fozzy in my head. I'm like, oh, this is see, TJ wants to fight Fozzy. You want to fight Fozzy. We could have all just jumped
Everybody
him.
does.
We could have just jumped this guy. I can't stand this dude. He's gonna be there Saturday, and I have to be civil. I have to call the matches down the middle as a commentator, so I can't touch him on Saturday. But I'm just saying, if you happen to see him in the locker room and want to give him a cheap shot for me, it would be appreciated. You know. uh,
Oh, I'm sure he'll be listening to that.
I hope he does. I hope he does listen, and I hope he's ready to get killed by Alpha Junior. Because I'm pulling for Alpha. I'm not supposed to say that, but hey, I'm pulling for Alpha. But no, so I can imagine again. That's another one of those where, especially Fozzy, I'll give him credit where credit is due. I have said he does. He's very talented as well. He's definitely showing another up and comer in that alumni of Skid Row, and seeing not only him getting the blessing from Prince Nana, but holding that U.S. championship and just showing out. So that would be another great match to see what you can do in there with Fawcett.
Yeah, like the reason why I decided to choose Falsey, like I know everybody wants to get his hands on them, but there's a main reason why I decided to choose him as the one of the guys that I have to have a match
Yeah.
with. Like I've seen his matches when I first started to come back into this business. I've been keeping a very close eye on him. Like man, like the promos, like his in ring work, everything, the energy he brings into the business, like it's just like very amazing. Like that's why I envy him when I just see him like coming out there with so much fire, like putting on the best matches that I have honestly seen at Super Crazy. And that right there tells me like, yeah, that's the guy. Like I want to face him, even if it's for the belt, even if it's not for the belt, it doesn't matter. I just want to have that match with him.
Got you. No, and again, it's showing you. It's that almost. It's you want to be able to be that. That's what it is. It's that hunger of like, you know what? I like what he's doing. I want to be the same. I want to be able to have that hunger, showcase that. And again, it's one of those where hey, for a while he was also on that same path of still very young in it. He was growing, he was being tested, and now you're doing the same. So who knows? A few months from now, we'll be having a combo where it's the next one up. It's like, you know what? I want to face Noah Stryker because I'm seeing that hunger. I'm seeing all this. So always be careful. Watch your back there because there's gonna be that one kid now
Oh yeah,
in
definitely.
that same next class is looking at you like, yeah, this kid has something. Like it's always one of those. So I'm glad to hear that competition, that friendly competition there between you guys as fellow classmates, and being able to see and have that respect of, hey, this guy's doing it great. I want to do it just like him. So
Yeah, man. Like other than Fossey, I would love to actually like Fossey's like one character, but I honestly would love to face all members of Primal Fear in singles matches.
it makes sense. Again, it's that brotherhood there because there's one thing you're facing your actual brother. You're going in there with Adrian, but it's one to be able to face guys that he's gone to war with. He's been able to stand by his side, and I know you want to prove, hey, I know you guys are brothers, but hey, that's my brother, and I want to show there's no one's gonna fight like another one of us. So that would be great to see. I've had
Hmm.
them on the show. They're definitely that hunger is there with them. It just gets bigger, and I see what they brought to the table. So that would be interesting to see. Well, again, it starts Saturday. Who knows? They might get involved, so you might have to give them a little bit of of some comeuppance when it comes to being in that squared circle.
We'll have to wait till June 10th to see what happens.
Hey, again, guys, if you haven't already, make sure you get your tickets. Link will be in the description down below. And again, it's not only a just stacked card, but it is a special night. Again, we're doing this for Unc. We're doing this for Black G's. Again, a veteran of the game, someone that has taught so many of us so much, has done so much for all of us here. So it's definitely one of those where you should come out. Because again, it's a stacked card. Like we're talking about Noah and Soriano here, but it's one of those where it's a card that's been stacked. I believe right now there's 12 confirmed matches. And there's so much more. I've been hearing the rumors, I've been hearing the things. There's some people that are showing up Saturday that will not be announced. They're just gonna be there. You don't know what they're gonna do. Like I'm hearing some rumblings.
You gotta buy your tickets to find out.
So it's one of those where again you're seeing all the OGs are coming. You got Monster Mac showing up. You got Joker showing up. Donovan, who I'll be talking to tomorrow. It's a who's who in names that you never know. They got some cool friends, so you never know who else might be showing up. So who knows? Maybe Old Dog decides to put on the trunks one more time. So you never know. You never know what could happen in one of these.
Never know.
So, but let's keep it going here. So now, okay, we got Fozzy. We got someone that's in-house there. Is there anyone that catches your eye outside of Superkrazee and Skid Row? Is there someone, or is there a place? Let's go into that. Is there somewhere that you're like, I want to make my mark now here? Because I know you're still young in the career. You're getting your foot wet, as we say. But it's one of those where I can imagine you're starting to look outward as well. Because there's a bunch of great promotions that are coming out. And again, independent wrestling is thriving. So is there a place, opponent, or even both that has your eye right now that you're like, this is the next stop for Noah Stryker?
Honestly, there's actually one person, and he's actually part of AEW with Ring of Honor. And he's actually part of the Blackpool Combat Club. It's gonna be none other than Wheeler Yuta.
Oh, okay. Guy that's definitely familiar with our area here. He's definitely made his mark in the tri-state. So
yeah, I've been watching his work like from the very beginning when he first started in AEW Dark, all the way up to Rampage and onto the main roster and Dynamite. Just watching that progression, just watching his growth, going from this one wrestler that was just on Dark to becoming one of the staple members of Blackpool Combat Club. Like that right there, man, just watching his skills, just the fire, the skills, everything. Like that's the one guy I know that I had to face off in the ring.
Gotcha. No, and that's definitely that's one where that's gonna put your technical skills to the test, because Wheeler definitely, once he grabs a hold, that's it.
Oh yeah.
so let me ask you that. For you, what is there a particular style? Is there a particular just class of wrestlers that truly interests you? Is it that technical mat style, that strong style, if you will? Is that what drives you? Is that what like your inspiration comes from?
Like with okay, me being the small guy I am, with like I put myself with all the cruiserweights, with the likes of Ray Phoenix, with the likes of Zack Sabre Jr. I would love to face with these guys off in the ring. I just love the technical aspects of the wrestling. Like that's where I would love to incorporate most of my style.
Got you. And again, it's a great who's who of wrestlers right there. Again, it's a style where it's that I don't want to say it's a lost art, but it's one of those where it almost feels like it takes a back seat sometimes. Like the art of having that actual technical prowess in there and being able to be just a true mats man and catch can wrestler. I feel like it's almost forgotten about. That's great to hear. That's still at an interest of yours, and seeing how that's going to influence you when you're in that ring, and depending on who you're going with their training holds and everything like that.
Right.
So, gotcha. So, but with that being said, then, so you said Wheeler Yuta, you're talking about Zack Sabre Jr. and guys like that. Is there anyone else from that style that's like, okay, this would be my test to see if I could truly hang in that technical style?
Yeah, like also like it was, I guess like I have to face the Ultimo Dragon if I ever have the opportunity, just like your good friend Anthony Gangone when he had his triple threat match. Like wow, like I didn't get to see the match personally, but just having the chance to actually step into the ring with a legend in Ultimo, like I would love to have a similar opportunity when the time comes around.
No. Oh, definitely. And again, that's a match where even him, as many years as he's been in the business, it's one of those where it was a test for him. So I can imagine that's definitely something to look into and just, hey, again, prep for something like that because you never know. That next opponent could be someone similar just like that. And hey, and it's funny because that good friend of mine, my best friend right there, he did face your brother at one point. I don't know if you saw that match. So
Hmm.
my,
I would
my my
watch that one.
apologies that he did beat your brother though. I'm sorry. So maybe one day you have to get your own revenge on my friend there. Just be careful
Yeah,
because again that kendo stick's not far away. I might
I would
have
love
to
to
hit
have
you
the
with that again.
opportunity.
Oh.
Like they did do this dirty at Civil War. I would love to have the opportunity.
Hey, again, like I said, Saturday we're good. Saturday everything is
Hmm.
cool. Everyone's gonna be civil. Everyone's gonna be nice. But after that last bell rings, I don't know. You might want to be careful. All bets are off after that last bell goes. So it might be back
Definitely.
to war. Oh, but no, that's good to hear. So again, I so now let's start getting into this. Let's start looking at is there for you is the single style this is your route for now, is this something you see yourself just doing in the future for the foreseeable future, or do you look to maybe one day make your own stable like that or having a tag team in the future?
For right now, I would like to stay as a singles just so I could get the word out, so I could hone my craft. You know, hey, like this is the new up and comer. Like I would love to have the opportunity to work in a tag team or in trios or in a faction in any given time whenever I get the chance. But for right now, the single route would be the best option for me.
Gotcha. No, I have to ask because again, it's one of those where I can imagine. Hey, like I said, that trios opportunity. Because again, Saturday it's one on one, but maybe you might need some friends just in case we see the rest of Primal Fear get involved as well. Which I don't think they're gonna have their own hands full as well because they have Deshaun Pratt and TJ Reno, but you never know. They do like to be around just in case.
Right.
So, but no, I have to ask that just to see where the thoughts are lying here.
Got it.
So, but again, brother, I don't want to take up too much more of your time here. So let's start wrapping this up a little bit. So I do have to ask now for Noah Stryker, what is the end goal here?
Uh, the end goal for me, for right now, the end goal is to hold that Skid Row Heavyweight Championship around my waist. That would be the end goal for me.
Gotcha. There you
No
go.
matter how long it takes, I will get that belt one day.
Hey, that's a great, and again, that's a great goal to have because especially it'll mean so much. Again, we're 9 months in right now. Who knows? In that when that year hits, maybe you're getting that shot. When the 2 year mark hits, who knows? We could be talking to the champion at that point. But it's one of those where it's great to see because you have something to now set for yourself. It's not just, oh yeah, I want to do this. I want. It's like no, this is the goal I want to hit, and that's what we're looking for. So that's great to hear.
Hmm. Yeah, man,
So
definitely.
gotcha. But again, brother, thank you so much for joining us here. Before we let you go as well, guys, make sure you follow Noah. Again, look, follow the career here. Make sure you're looking to see what a
Please
young up
follow
and
me
comer is
down
doing
there.
right there. Go follow him on Instagram right there.
I
Go
appreciate
follow
that.
him on Twitter right there at Stryker Noah right there. Make sure you're following the links. Will also be in the description down below as well to the Facebook. Don't be weird, guys. I always put the Facebook, but it's like, hey, unless you really know him like that, don't be weird. So go follow him on those social handles though to make sure you're staying up to date. And again, the link will also be in the description to get your tickets for Church's Money Day. We're all going to be there this Saturday. Again, you're getting to see the best of Superkrazee, hashtag dope, Project Codename Wrestling, and again, so much more because you never know who's going to show up. So be there this Saturday, a great cause, and support Black Cheese right there. Support Unk and support some great professional wrestling. And like we said, go support your local cons as well. Because you never
Yeah,
know. You
definitely.
could be the
Please
next
do.
Noah Stryker. You could be the next Ray Sanchez. You never know. So go to your cons, go have some fun. And just again, as always, don't forget to be wise, be genuine, be real, be better people, respect the craft. And we'll see you guys on the next one. And wait. I almost forgot to ask this question because I have to. Could we ever see? Is this a match that's in your head? Because I feel like you're going to get asked this a lot anytime you do a podcast. So I have to be the first one to ask. Is the Noah Stryker versus Matt Stryker ever a match in your head? Because you're going to get asked this a lot. Because the name is just like.
Yeah, we have very similar names. We literally have the same exact name. Oh,
Like,
man. Oh, if the opportunity ever comes, I would, Matt Stryker, if you ever listen to this, I would love to have an opportunity. Stryker versus Stryker. Let's make that happen.
that's it. I had to ask it. I had to throw it out there because I was like, you know what? I can't end this without asking him because it's just similar names. I know I feel the spelling might be different. I feel like it might be different. But hey, again, especially that you like that technical style. I know Matt as well is he's very fond of technical wrestling and that strong style. So hey, that could be 1-4. You never know what could happen. But again, Noah, thank you so much for joining me and everyone
And
watching.
thanks
As
for having me.
always, support indie wrestling. I will see you guys on the next one. Peace.